Hey guys, this is my 2021 in the cart. I have a custom cart. This is Zuka's ice skating cart, or sports cart, I think it's called sometimes. But anyway, I took the little light up wheels off of it, and I put some 12-inch little kids bike wheels on here, and added a couple things so that it stays up straight, and that way I can also sit on it during my rounds. All right, so let's get into the discs. All right, starting off with putters. I have 3 putting putters, mainly for practice. I just need one, obviously, at a time. But I putt with the MVP Proton Soft Ions. This disc is the first putter that I ever owned, and I ended up getting a practice basket, so I wanted to practice these, and I have 12 of them. So at this point, it just wouldn't make sense for me to switch to something else. But if I were to do it all over again, I probably would not putt with these. But they work great now. I know them, and they go in the hole. So I have 3 of those in my cart. Next discs are my approach putters. I have 3 of these. I have 2 R Pro plastics. I have an R Pro Aviar. Usually I throw this one more where I need to get the stick on the green. I don't so much putt with this. Same is true for the R Pro Dart. This is one I like to give kind of a floaty bid with if there's no real danger of going long, or if I need it to kind of hyzer in and then stick on the green. This is really soft plastic, and it sticks right where it hits. And then my main throwing putter, or approach putter, I should say, is this S-Line P3X from Discmainia. This is 171 grams, and this one I could put quite a little bit of spin on, bring it in at basket height, and it usually drops right there. So every once in a while I'll throw it in, but if I don't, then it lands really close to the basket, and that's what I like about this disc. Okay, next 2 discs I have are my forehand approach discs. These are 2 mid-ranges. We'll start with this one. This one's a little bit more straight for me. This is the Paul Macbeth Zone. This is, I think, 174 grams, and it goes pretty straight with obviously a reliable finish. Now, one thing with this disc is I can't really turn it over too much unless I force it over. So it goes right on that hyzer line into the basket and works really nice for pretty straight forehand shots. If I need a little bit more hyzer, I go to the Gator 3. This disc I can throw probably up to about 200 feet and in. This is a good approach disc. This is max weight, 175 grams, Gator 3. Next few discs I have are my backhand mid-ranges. And I have, I think, 5 of those here. From least stable to most stable, I have an R Pro Rock, kind of like the other 2 R Pro putters that I had. These ones, I can get a little bit more distance on it. This is 180 grams, but it's beat in pretty good. So if I wanted to come in, you know, from right to left, I do have to put hyzer on it from the throw. It naturally will just go dead straight. So another thing that I like about this disc is I can get the hyzer flip really well, just like rocks are known for. You can start off on a little hyzer, it flips up to flat and just goes dead straight. Very, very good woods disc in that regard. Next mid-range I have is a Paige Pierce Buzz. This is her tour series for this year, or maybe for last year, I guess. And this one will go on any line that I put it on. So if I start off on hyzer, it's going to stay hyzer. If I put it on Annie, it'll stay Annie. The only thing that maybe deviates a little bit is if I go dead straight, just at the very, very end, it starts to hyzer a little bit. But other than that, this is a very straight flying disc for me. So one thing is, it's a little bit tough to get the right angle out of your hand if you don't have good wrist control. Next disc I have is a Innova Star Halo Lion. This is an X out. So this is 180 grams. This one is kind of like the Buzz in that it goes pretty straight for me, but it has a little bit more finish at the end. So one thing I can do with this disc is start on a little bit of turnover, if I need to S it around something, it will finish for me. That's nice with this one. Or on maybe shorter approaches, I will throw as a backhand a hyzer, and it will stay hyzer the whole way in. My old go-to disc for backhand approaches was this 180 gram R Star Rock X3. This guy used to be my absolute favorite. In fact, I had another one, a neon yellow one that I loved, but I threw it into a creek, and so I had to get this one to replace it. And I could throw that other disc anywhere I wanted. It would just hyzer right in exactly like I knew. This one started off that way. It started off really well, but it's since kind of beat in a little bit too much. I had my other one forever, but this one I've only had for probably less than a year. And this guy is starting to turn on me a little bit, especially for a Rock X3. It's kind of surprised me. So I still like it, especially with tailwinds. I can throw it like I used to. But for now, my main approach disc has become this Buzz OS. This guy, I put it on that same hyzer like I used to before, and it'll dive right into the basket like I know. And it usually sits kind of right where I throw it. So for being Z plastic, it does a pretty good job of sitting down. All right, next 5 discs I have for you are backhand fairway drivers. So let's start with this one. This is my a factory second Sidewinder. This is 175 gram factory second Sidewinder. This guy I do like to throw for rollers every now and then. They usually go pretty hard right because it is a Sidewinder. So because of that, I don't throw it too much as a roller. What I like more is the hyzer flip. I can throw this on hyzer, flips up to flat, and then for a Sidewinder, this guy is pretty beefy, so it does finish almost always back to the left. It never really turns all the way over unless I get a good pump on it. Next disc I have is a S-Line CD. This is by Discmainia. I do have an ace with this disc, so it is special to me. But this guy is pretty understable compared to when I first had it. It's a control driver, but now I'd say what I can get with this disc is it flips all the way up, rides over to the right a little bit, and then finishes back to the left. So I do like this disc for that. Recently, however, I've been throwing it more on forehand roller lines, something that needs to get left fast for like a short hole that it's just hard to get around that corner with a normal disc hyzering in the air. This guy can throw it on the ground and it goes left hard. Next disc I have is an S-Line FD from Discmainia. For a while there, these were kind of hard to get your hands on, so I bought one when one came available. This is 175 gram, like any FD, great fairway driver. Put on a little bit of hyzer, flips up to flat, and then this has a good finish at the end as well. Great disc. I have a Jennifer Allen Tour Series TEEBIRD. I think this is a 2021 Tour Series. And this is Color Glow plastic. This is 175 grams. And this guy is beefy. So for this disc, I don't throw it on holes that are very far at all. For a TEEBIRD, it just doesn't go very far. But it has that consistent hyzer. Right out of the hand, it's if I throw it flat, it starts to hyzer kind of right away. It's very, very beefy for me. Unless I force it over, of course. But a very, very predictable finish. Good disc. Color Glow TEEBIRD. Next disc I have is a TEEBIRD 3. This is a Metalflake TEEBIRD 3, max weight 175 grams. And this one is one of my favorites. I love this disc. I can throw it as flat as I want, and it stays straight almost the entire flight. And then it does have a very predictable finish at the end, but it doesn't really deviate from that flat line. It just goes, and then it dumps at the end. Love this disc. All right, next few discs I have for you are, let's see, are some discs I like to throw forehand, some fairway driver forehand discs. And let's start actually with this one. This is a Nate Sexton Glow FIREBIRD. This is 3 or 4 years old now, and he actually signed this one for me, so it's very special to me. Always keep this one in the bag. And this guy, it's so beat in now that I can throw it straight and it stays straight on a forehand line. And then it does have a little bit of finish at the end like a normal Firebird does, but it's not as much as it used to be, so it's very, very nice for those straight forehand flights. I have another Firebird. This is probably the one I reach for most when I need to throw a forehand disc. And this is a little bit newer. This is Color Glow Sexton Firebird. And this guy is, I mean, you've all seen the Firebird before, so it works just like that. Maybe just a touch more beat in than when I first got it. It still does its job well. One disc that I've been throwing a little bit more is this bottom stamp Simon Lizotte FD3. This, at first, I thought it was kind of more understable than the two Firebirds I have. However, I didn't throw it for a long time, and since I've beat those Firebirds in quite a bit, this has become more overstable than those. So I'm almost reaching for this just as much as my other Firebird now. Really good disc, FD3. I have a big Jerm 2021 Thunderbird. This is 175 grams. This guy, it's brand new, so it's still very stable. I usually throw it forehand, kind of on a flex line because it is so stable and new still, but I expect it to beat in kind of like those other ones, those other Firebirds that I have, but I can get some pretty good distance out of this. If I do throw this backhand, it just starts hyzering right away. I don't, because it's so new, but it'll beat in quick enough. And then one of my most favorite discs is this one. This is Discmainia PD. This is an S-Line Day Glow. And I do have another ace with this disc as well, so this is probably why it's special to me. I used to throw it, or even when I first got it, I could hardly throw it, I should say. Very, very stable run of PD. However, now it's beat in really nice where I can throw it super flat and it stays and never flips over. Never turns over, I should say, but it goes straight, 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 and then it does have a pretty strong finish still at the end. So I really like it for those kind of shots. If I need to throw something on forehand with a little bit more turn, I will reach for this disc, but otherwise I normally only throw this one backhand. I have two Wraiths in the cart. I just got this one this year. This is a 2021 World Stamp 175 gram Wraith. And this guy was really understable right out of the box. And so I really only throw this one for rollers. And give it just a touch of turn and it flips right down and goes for a little ways, but it really curls hard to the right when I throw it as a roller. But still a very useful disc to have. And then this used to be my roller disc. This is another Wraith. This is a Ken Climo Star 175 gram Wraith. But now what I use this one for is mainly just really straight air shots. Maybe even up to about 325, 350. Really, really straight. I could probably throw longer if I had to, but then it would probably start to turn over. So this one, I like to throw it just really, really straight on a backhand line. All right, guys, next 8 discs I have in my bag are all Destroyers. And from least stable to most stable, we'll go through all of them. My first one's a Pro Destroyer. It's a stock stamp Pro Destroyer, 175 grams. Had it for about 2.5 years. And this one is beat in pretty good. Started out a little bit stable, but now when I throw it on a touch of hyzer, it flips all the way over to the right, rides for a long time, and then finishes back left just a little bit. So this one I like to throw when there's a tailwind. I really don't mess with headwinds with this disc at all, but with a little bit of a tailwind, I can pump it out well over 400 feet. My oldest disc that I own is this one. This is a Star Destroyer Avery Jenkins style with his stamp on it. Actually, the stamp is kind of worn off. It's about 7, 8 years old now. And this one, very similar to the Pro Destroyer. It kind of goes in and out of the bag a little bit, but it's 175 grams. If I start on pretty steep hyzer, it'll flip all the way up, even over sometimes, to get that big old S-curve that we all like from our destroyers. So very old disc, very special to me. It's one of my very first ones I've ever got. Next one I have is, this is a pretty recent one. This is a Ricky Wysocki stamp destroyer. And this is 172 grams. I don't throw this one too much, but it's really cool looking, so I keep it in the bag just for good luck. All right, next two discs, we'll talk about those at the same time. These ones are crushers. They go super far. I have a 172 gram Ricky Wysocki stock stamp destroyer. And then I have this Kansas City-wide open spackle star destroyer. It's 171 grams. And these guys just crush for me. I can start them off usually pretty just straight, maybe a touch of hyzer, and they will get a full S flight out of them. And yesterday I went out and just threw all my destroyers that I had, and these two both went over 450 feet, which is pretty good for me. Leaving a comment down below if it's good for you, but for me that's about as far as I can throw a disc for now. And so this is what I reach for if I need to get some max distance. 172 gram, 171 gram destroyers. Next one I have is probably my most, I'd say, consistent destroyer. This is a Halo destroyer. I got this one in 2020. And this guy is 175 grams. And I usually throw this one with a touch of hyzer to start with, and it just holds the whole way. Don't typically, turn this one over very much. I can get pretty easy 350 to 400 feet out of this guy. Very consistent. It doesn't usually deviate from the path, doesn't get knocked down or anything like that by the wind. Really like this disc. It's one that I reach for probably the most when I just need a good stock shot hyzer. Next one I have is a Team Champion Series Shimmer Star 175 gram destroyer. This is a Steve Brinster, and this is beefy. If I am going to throw a flex shot, I usually throw this one. Start off with a bit of anhyzer, knowing it's going to work out if I have to kind of shape that line in the course. It doesn't go super far like the other ones do, maybe up to 350, 375, but usually when I'm throwing this one on the course, I don't even need that much distance for the holes. It's shaped kind of that way, but I will throw this one like that. And every once in a while I will throw it forehand as well. Typically the other ones I don't throw forehand. This is, if I'm going to throw a forehand destroyer, it'll be this one. Then last but not least, my last destroyer is this 2021 Calvin Heimburg Tour Series destroyer. This is 175 grams. And this is also really beefy, but it's starting to beat in a little bit for me. So it doesn't just dump right away. Still very beefy, but I typically throw this one with, again, a touch of anhyzer just to get as much flight out of it as I can. Doesn't go very far at all. I'm lucky to get this one past 350 when I throw it. All right, and the last three discs that I have in my bag are all Discmainia. I have a PD2. I typically only throw this one forehand unless there's a super stiff headwind, and then I will throw it backhand knowing it's just going to go really straight and then end with a predictable hyzer finish. But usually I throw this one forehand. It gets quite a bit of turn before it comes back, but very predictable like a PD2 should be. This is definitely my go-to forehand distance driver. I just put this one in the bag. It doesn't have my name on it even yet. This is another PD2. I've had this one for quite a while, and when I first got it, I think I threw it into headwind because I remember it being a little bit flippy. But since I've put it in recently, it is just as stable as the other one, if not more so. And so this one I really like to give it everything I got with a little bit of turn even on a forehand line, and it will always fight out of it. So I don't know what I was thinking when I first threw this, but I'm glad I put it back in and gave it another try. Then the last disc I have in my bag is a PD3. This is stupid overstable. Usually if I'm throwing this, it's with a flex. Quite a bit of angle on it. Always fight out. Very, very stable disc. I was not lucky enough to get a tilt or anything like that, so this is as close as I have, which apparently isn't even close. But anyway, I usually throw this one, like I said, with a flex line, or if there's something that just has to get way right and I need an air shot, I can't throw a roller, I will typically throw this one out forehand, and it'll dive to the right really fast. All right. All right, guys, let me flip this guy around and show you what else I have in here. So around back, I have my putter pouch, of course, from Nebraska. So I have the Nebraska N on here that I spray painted on with a stencil. Some coffee, of course. I have another place for a water bottle over here. A towel, along with all my bag tags that I currently have. So hopefully those get lower soon. Let's check out this pocket. Let's see, I have an extra towel in case it's really wet out there on the course. A mini sports sack from Discraft. I have a little sandpaper block in case I need to fix up the disc if it's got a ding in it. And let's see, what else do I have? I have a pencil, keep score if I ever am in charge of the card that round. Chapstick, of course, and then some ibuprofen. Worst thing is a headache out on the course. And then the last pocket, this is the whale sack in the mini that I use for my tournaments. The other ones are just extra if I'm practicing. I got to keep your hands dry and grippy, as well as a good mini. This is one of my favorite minis. I know when I put this down, it just gives me that confidence I need to get those putts in the basket. All right, guys, I'm Kyle Martin. Thanks for watching my 2021 In the Cart. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you liked any of these discs, or if you think I should put anything else in my bag that I don't have currently. I'll see you in the next one.